Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in again. This is my legislative report for the week of February 11th through the 15th. It's going to be a pretty short week in terms of the amount of legislation, but I wanted to cover just a couple of things that you'll certainly hear about in the news, and then a few things that won't make the national news at all. Certainly, first and foremost, the House Conference Committee looking at the appropriations for the Homeland Security bill will hopefully come to some kind of compromise this week and avoid a government shutdown. Funding is due to run out on Friday. I did hear this morning that the talks are somewhat stalled over other issues outside of the physical barrier or wall funding. So we'll see what happens. I know from the reports that I've seen that everybody's trying to avoid the shutdown, but we'll see what happens. On the Senate side, the nomination of William Barr for Attorney General will come up on the floor this week for a vote, likely to pass, and we'll see what happens there, but certainly those two things will be in the news. The House has 5 bills that are set for a vote this week. All 5 of those are under suspension of the rules, and so they will likely pass by voice vote. They're all in the government operations arena, coming out of the Oversight and Reform Committee. So no real big legislation there. There is one bill. It's actually a resolution, House Joint Resolution 37. That resolution, it would be the Congress requiring the removal of troops from Yemen. And as a 37-year veteran of the Air Force and the Department of Defense, this one certainly is something that I'll follow. It will bring up the debate about Congress's responsibility to declare war versus the executive branch. And again, as a veteran, I certainly believe that in the Constitution and its requirement for Congress to be the body that declares war, and we'll see where that goes. Likely to come up for a vote on Thursday is what I see on the schedule. In terms of committee hearings, just one item that I'd like to highlight, and that's the Armed Services Committee in the House. They're going to meet 9:30 on Tuesday and again 9:30 on Thursday. If you're interested in military budget, and as you know, over $700 billion was set aside for fiscal year 2019, the Armed Services Committee will be meeting and talking about different aspects of the 2020 budget. Certainly there is a big debate going on about how much military spending is enough. As a veteran, I'm certainly in favor of a strong military, but I do question sometimes where and how much money is being spent in relation to the rest of the budget. And people talk about the cost of other items in our society, and so obviously there has to be a balance there. But those discussions are happening in committee, and if you're interested in that, you can go to congress.gov and tune in to those Armed Services Committee hearings. So not a lot of legislation, but interesting week nonetheless happening in our government, and I hope you're finding the updates interesting and useful for talking to your member of Congress. I know I'll be calling mine tomorrow about House Resolution 37. So again, thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you next week.